Have you ever noticed that your body seems to react differently to food than it used to? Maybe you eat the same meals you've always loved, but now they leave you feeling bloated, tired, or just off. Or perhaps your energy isn't what it used to be, even though you're trying to eat healthy. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone, and more importantly, there's something you can do about it. You see, after 60, our bodies go through all sorts of subtle changes. Our metabolism slows down, digestion can become more sensitive, and even our sense of hunger might not be as strong as it once was. What worked for us in our 40s or 50s doesn't always work the same way now. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our favorite foods or follow complicated diets. It just means we need to adjust, gently and wisely, to this new chapter. Today, let's have a real conversation about the four most common diet mistakes people over 60 often make, not out of neglect, but simply because no one told them otherwise. The good news is, once you're aware of these habits, you can shift them easily and feel better, stronger, and more in control of your health than ever before. Let's begin with something very simple, but incredibly overlooked. That's not eating enough protein. For years, we were told to watch our fat, cut back on sugar, and avoid too many calories. But rarely did anyone tell us just how important protein becomes as we age. You see, after 60, we naturally begin to lose muscle mass, and muscle is what keeps us strong, balanced, and mobile. It's what helps us get up from a chair without effort, carry the groceries, or even just keep a steady posture while we walk. The tricky part is that as our appetite changes, we sometimes gravitate toward foods that are easier to chew or more comforting, like bread, crackers, or sweets. But if protein takes a back seat in your meals, your muscles slowly lose their support system. And that doesn't just affect your strength, it can impact your immune system, your energy levels, even your mood. The fix doesn't have to be drastic. Just start by asking, is there a source of protein in this meal? It could be a boiled egg at breakfast, a handful of beans in your soup, or a slice of grilled chicken with your salad. Even yogurt, tofu, or a sprinkle of nuts can make a difference. It's not about eating a lot, it's about eating enough to support the amazing body you've lived in for over 6 decades. Now let's talk about something that surprises a lot of people, not eating enough. I know, we've spent much of our lives being told to eat less, to be careful about portions, to watch our weight. But after 60, undereating can be just as harmful as overeating. When we skip meals or eat too little, our metabolism slows down even more, our muscles begin to weaken faster, and our blood sugar can become unstable, making us feel dizzy, tired, or irritable. Sometimes this happens unintentionally. Maybe you're not as hungry in the morning. Maybe you get busy and forget to eat. Or maybe you're just used to smaller portions. But over time, consistently eating too little can leave you feeling weaker, not leaner. A good way to approach this is to think of food as fuel, not just calories. Your body still needs nourishment, just in the right balance. Try to keep a steady rhythm, 3 small meals and maybe a couple of light snacks if needed. Something as simple as a slice of toast with peanut butter or a bowl of fruit with yogurt can be enough to keep your energy and blood sugar steady. And while we're here, I want to gently touch on something many people don't notice until they feel the effects: dehydration. Yes, I know it doesn't sound like a diet issue, but it absolutely is. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable. That means even if we don't feel thirsty, our bodies could still be lacking water, and that can affect everything from digestion to focus, joint health to energy levels. A lot of people think they're eating right, but they're not drinking enough. Coffee, tea, even juice, while they have liquid, they don't hydrate the same way water does. Try this. Keep a bottle or glass of water nearby during the day. Take small sips often. And if plain water doesn't appeal to you, add a few slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint. Even brothy soups and water-rich fruits like watermelon or cucumber can help. Staying hydrated helps your body absorb nutrients better, supports your kidneys, keeps your skin soft, and, yes, even helps regulate your appetite. So far, we've looked at just a few small shifts: eating enough protein, not skipping meals, and drinking more water. They're not dramatic changes. You don't need to count every calorie or follow some strict plan. You just need to tune into your body, listen to its needs, and treat it with the care and respect it deserves. There's something really empowering about realizing that small changes can make such a big difference. You don't have to overhaul everything overnight. You don't have to follow complicated rules or eliminate all your favorite foods. In fact, when it comes to eating well after 60, balance and simplicity often work best. Now that we've talked about protein, eating enough, and staying hydrated, let's move into another common mistake many people fall into, and this one can sneak up on you. I'm talking about relying too heavily on processed foods. It's not always intentional. Maybe it's the convenience, the familiarity, or just habit. Things like boxed crackers, frozen meals, packaged pastries, or canned soups with long lists of ingredients. Now, there's nothing wrong with grabbing something quick every now and then. Life gets busy, and no one expects perfection. But when processed foods become a regular part of your diet, especially the salty, sugary, or artificially flavored ones, they can slowly wear your body down without you realizing it. Highly processed foods often have additives your body doesn't need and too much of what it's trying to get rid of, excess salt, hidden sugars, and unhealthy fats. And over time, these can affect your blood pressure, your energy, your digestion, even your mood. If you've ever felt tired after a meal, or noticed your joints ache more after eating certain packaged snacks, this might be why. The solution doesn't mean cutting out everything that comes in a package, it just means reading labels and leaning more toward foods in their natural state. Here's a gentle tip: next time you go grocery shopping, try to fill most of your cart with items that don't need a label to explain what they are. Fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains like oats or brown rice, simple proteins like eggs or beans. If you can recognize it without needing to Google it, your body probably will too. Even making one small swap at a time, like choosing real oats instead of instant sugary packets, or baking a sweet potato instead of microwaving a frozen meal, adds up. Your body recognizes these foods, breaks them down more gently, and uses them more efficiently. And best of all, they usually taste better too. And that brings us to the last mistake, one that's more emotional than physical, but just as important: ignoring the joy in eating. After 60, it's easy to fall into a routine, eating the same few meals over and over, skipping the foods you once loved because you think you shouldn't, or eating just for function instead of pleasure. But food is one of life's simplest joys. It's culture. It's memory. It's comfort. And most importantly, it's allowed to be enjoyable. When we think of food only in terms of nutrients and restrictions, we lose the connection to the real heart of eating: satisfaction. And that satisfaction plays a huge role in how your body digests and uses food. When you eat slowly, savor your meals, and enjoy the flavors and textures, your digestion actually improves. You absorb more nutrients, feel fuller, and your brain registers that you're being nourished, not just fed. So, what can you do? Try eating with fewer distractions. Maybe turn off the TV during meals and focus on what's on your plate. Add some color, variety, and maybe a new herb or spice you haven't used in a while. Bring back a dish from your childhood, or cook something you've always wanted to try. And if you can, share a meal with someone: a neighbor, a friend, a family member. Even a short lunch together can lift the spirit in ways no vitamin ever could. Food should be something you look forward to. A moment of calm. A little joy. A way to nourish your body and your soul at the same time. And here's the truth: no one knows your body better than you do. You've lived in it for 60, 70, even 80 years. It has carried you through ups and downs, through decades of memories. And now, it's asking for a little more gentleness, a little more care, and a little more presence. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. To notice how certain foods make you feel. To notice when you're full. To notice what makes you feel light, clear, energized, and what doesn't. When you start approaching food with this kind of awareness and compassion, everything changes. Meals stop being chores and start becoming moments of self-respect, of healing, of strength. So here's what we've gently uncovered so far: that after 60, eating well isn't just about rules, it's about tuning in. Giving your body what it actually needs, instead of what's easiest or most familiar. And remembering that it's never too late to feel better, think clearer, and move through life with a little more energy in your step and joy in your heart. Underscore 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 underscore. There's a quiet kind of power in choosing to take care of yourself, especially at this stage of life. After all, you've spent years, maybe even decades, caring for others. You've worked hard, raised families, helped friends, handled responsibilities big and small. And somewhere along the way, it's easy to forget that your own well-being deserves the same kind of devotion. But here's the beautiful truth: it's never too late to choose yourself. And it can begin with something as simple as what you put on your plate. Let's take a breath and remind ourselves of what we've uncovered. We've talked about how important it is to get enough protein, not just for strength, but for balance, mobility, and staying independent. We've looked at how undereating, even if unintentional, can drain your energy and slow your metabolism. We've remembered that water is more than just a drink, it's part of how your body heals, moves, and thinks. We've noticed how processed foods, though convenient, can slowly dull your energy and make your body work harder. And we've brought back the joy of eating, not just for health, but for connection, for flavor, for that spark that says, I'm still here. I still enjoy life. But beyond all of that, this video isn't just about food. It's about confidence. It's about feeling good in your own body. It's about looking in the mirror, or waking up in the morning, and knowing that you are doing something good for yourself. That you are actively choosing to stay strong, to stay sharp, to stay engaged in life. Because what we eat impacts more than our waistline or our lab results. It affects how we feel when we get out of bed. It affects how clearly we think, how steady we walk, how well we sleep, and how connected we feel to the world around us. And that's what this is really about. Feeling more alive. Feeling more like yourself. Maybe you've made some of these diet mistakes before, most of us have. Maybe you've had days where you skipped meals, grabbed something quick and salty, or didn't drink enough water. That's okay. We're not aiming for perfection here. We're aiming for progress. For small, doable shifts that build over time into habits you can be proud of. And remember, these changes aren't meant to restrict your life, they're meant to expand it. To give you more energy to do the things you love. To help you move with more freedom. To help you think clearly when you're chatting with a friend or remembering the name of that song you used to dance to. To help you feel like, yes, this stage of life is not the end of anything, it's the beginning of something even more intentional. So if you're watching this and thinking, I've let my diet slide, or I don't even know where to start, just begin with one thing. Maybe it's adding a little more protein to breakfast. Maybe it's keeping a bottle of water nearby. Maybe it's cooking that colorful vegetable you've been meaning to try. Maybe it's just sitting down to eat without the TV, enjoying your meal without rushing. That one small change is enough. And tomorrow, you can build on it. Because you, my friend, are not someone who's done growing. You're not someone who's stopped evolving. You are still becoming. Still discovering. Still learning what it means to care for your body and your mind with kindness, not pressure. And that's the kind of change that lasts, the kind rooted in love and respect, not fear or rules. So here's what I want to leave you with today: be gentle with yourself. Stay curious about how your body responds. Celebrate the small wins, like finishing a glass of water or cooking something nourishing. Know that every good choice you make is a quiet act of self-respect. And if this video gave you something to think about, something to try, something to feel hopeful about, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what resonated with you, or what small change you want to start with. Your words could encourage someone else who's on the same journey. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This is a space for people like you, warm, wise, and wonderfully human, and I'd be honored to keep walking this path with you. Until next time, take care of yourself. Breathe deeply. Move gently. Eat well, not just for health, but for joy. And above all, never forget, your best days are still ahead of you. Here's to a healthy body, a happy heart, and a life full of flavor at every age.